Undercurrent, sponsored by John Hughes in Victoria Park. Choose your station before you choose your program. Absolutely.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of the very best bits of Undercurrent, and thank you ever so much for finding us in our brand new time slots of Sunday night at around about 10 o'clock and Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. I'm Christy Mollica, and tonight finds me here at Forest Place as we struggle our way through another rather warm week here in the city. Now first up, Mara Pamana took a look at one of the most curable forms of cancer, prostate cancer. Take a look.
I'm here with Steve Pratt and we're talking about prostate cancer. Steve, what is prostate cancer?
Okay, so prostate cancer, I guess, is, as the term suggests, cancer of the prostate. As we get older, most men's prostate becomes enlarged, and in some cases men get a cancerous prostate. So that's what prostate cancer is.
What is the best way to test it?
So what I would encourage men to do is, if they are worried or interested in prostate cancer, to talk to their GP. Some men will elect to have testing and some men won't. But when they do have testing, the recommendation is they have both the blood test, so PSA, and the digital rectal examination, which is the finger up the backside. Those two tests really need to be done together to get the best kind of determination.
Here's how it works. A PSA, or a prostate-specific antigen test, is a blood test used to try and measure prostate cancer activity. The lower the number, the better. When men are treated for prostate cancer, the PSA count usually goes down to an undetectable level. But for these men, the number will eventually go back up. And here's what needs to happen. As soon as that number starts rising, these men and the people taking care of them need to talk to their doctor about treatment options. Ongoing research in advanced prostate cancer is leading to new treatment options for these men. Who should be talking about this? Everyone. Tell your dad, your brother, your uncle, and encourage them to be proactive in talking to their doctor about prostate cancer. The word is spreading, and it has already made a difference. The more people you talk to about prostate cancer, the more men we might be able to help.
So prostate cancer is the most common cancer in Australia, and that's alarming because it's a cancer that only affects men. About 17,000 men were diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2008. So that's quite a bit more than the other cancers, and there's a few reasons for that. One of which is that we don't have a formal screening program, and there's probably another story to be told about that, but a lot of men do go to the doctor and get checked. There is treatment available both publicly and privately. Treatment is not simple for one reason, and that's that the prostate is right in the middle of your body. So in a sense, when you're talking surgery, it doesn't matter which direction you come from, there's other important bits there. So some of the risks of prostate cancer surgery is incontinence, and that's the inability to control urine, and sometimes the inability to control faeces as well, and that's a lot less common. Also, impotence is a side effect in many men, and in some men that resolves, and in others that doesn't. So that's the inability to get an erection.
Are there any myths regarding prostate cancer?
There's a myth, and it was a few years ago now, it hasn't been around for a while, that the more frequently a man ejaculated, the lower the risk of prostate cancer, and that's essentially been disproven now. It's, so it's not a case of use it or lose it.
There's so many foundations out there helping women with breast cancer, cervical cancer, but not a lot about prostate cancer and bowel cancer, which affects men. Is there any help out there?
I guess one of the things I would reinforce is that every man's kind of information and support needs are very different, and some men will go through treatment and have the support of their family and friends, and that's sufficient. Other men do need a bit more, and that can be medical support or psychological support. We provide a range of services through the helpline and exercise programs and counselling and those sorts of things for people who feel they might need some of those things. Prostate Cancer Foundation runs a number of support groups and things as well, and so in my experience, it's a case of men finding the kind of the support that suits them best. But certainly there's support out there.
And you have your prostate cancer checkups all the time?
All the time.
And you recommend your friends as well?
I recommend men to do it frequently because I think that's the best.
Well, GM, or genetically modified, is a term that we hear bandied about quite a lot these days. Well, next up, Anne-Marie Leonard investigates genetically modified wheat.
In Western Australia, our farmers pay a tax levy which goes into research and development. At the moment, some of that research is going into GM wheat, which our government doesn't support. So why is this happening in Western Australia?
Wheat is our main export product. We exported last year $2.7 billion worth of wheat. It's our major agricultural product. So it's wise to protect that.
No one in the world wants GM wheat. I think the taxpayer has a right to know why this is being pushed. It's very interesting to see that Colin Barnett, the Premier, said no to GM wheat, yet the Minister for Agriculture is still saying yes.
If one person grows GM wheat commercially, every other farmer will be affected. The market perception will be that we are GM unless we prove it's not, but that process is too difficult and too expensive. So basically it's industry sabotage. We will lose all of our market overnight because no market in the world wants it.
Once GM is grown, it's very difficult to control. You can't contain it on your property. Steve Marsh, of course, is a perfect example of what can go terribly wrong. Here's a man whose property was declared GM-free. He's an organic grower. And what's happened is that the neighboring farm has grown canola, GM canola, and he's found GM canola on his property. Consequently, he can't sell it to his buyer.
The seed companies walked away and the government's walked that way, and you've left the two people in the middle. So the grain grower thought he had Monsanto's support, and then that disappeared.
Monsanto has a 19.9% stake in Intergrain. Intergrain is the government-owned seed breeding company. About a year ago, for some reason, the agriculture minister sold 19.9% of it to Monsanto. Monsanto is keen to develop GM wheat varieties. No one else around the world is doing that. The only reason that Western Australia is investing in it is because they own part of our seed breeding company.
When the minister said yes to GM, they got $10.5 million from Monsanto, a big injection of funds. So now Monsanto owns almost 20% of our plant breeding institutes. But us farmers are paying for the research that's given to Monsanto so they can charge us more than the benefit gained.
We need to spend money in developing techniques to grow in soils which are depleted due to climate change. And salinity is a big issue in Western Australia. That's really where you could put $9 million that they're currently investing into developing GM wheat varieties.
What they can do is just add one gene to every non-GM variety, and the GM company, the owner of the patent, can tell the farmer how to grow it, who to deliver it to, and who to sell it to. This is about how a corporate company can lock all the seeds into their single supply chain and virtually own the food supply globally. You own the food, you own the people, and it has been a long-term aim stated by Monsanto, and the strategy was prepared by Arthur Andersen Consulting.
Colin Barnett was adamant in the Parliament that no to GM wheat. I think it's very wise.
The truth is that Colin Barnett has drawn the line here, and he has said that we will stop at GM cotton and GM canola. Colin Barnett has said we will not grow GM wheat. That's wise. He obviously knows what's going on around the world, because nobody is growing GM wheat. There's no market for it. People won't eat it. People won't buy it. So the fact that we're investing precious research dollars into developing it is really criminal, and it really only serves the interests of Monsanto.
Recently, there was another hike in interest rates. Janae Tomlinson took to the streets of the city of Perth this week to find out just how that makes you feel.
Earlier in the week, the Reserve Bank of Australia made a decision to hold their interest rates, a decision our other major banks are unlikely to follow. With all other banks set to increase interest rates, we took to the streets of Perth to see what you think about the increase.
The Reserve Bank of Australia has actually frozen their interest rate, and every other bank is increasing it.
Not at all surprised, really. So, banks are basically about making money and, Not
happy. Not at all.
Oh, I do feel very sorry for people who've got a big mortgage, and also I think it'll affect the economy badly.
For the family that they got a big mortgage, I'm very sorry for them. I'd like that the interest go down like all the rest of the world. We're too high.
Yeah, it's not something I'd be pleased about if I was paying a big mortgage. Yeah.
Even they go a little bit up, I don't think for the people which borrow the money to the banks, it go to be that bad.
I don't have any loans or anything, so it's all great for me. So
I don't have a home loan, so it doesn't really matter to me.
Well, I think it'll encourage me to look at other options other than standard banks for using my money. Yeah.
Well, I think retailers are finding it really hard at the moment anyway, and I think people are really not spending money, holding on to it, and this really doesn't help alleviate that situation at all.
But the economy is not bad in this country. It's very good economy when you look all over the world.
Did you know that the Commonwealth Bank was over $600 billion in debt?
Really? No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but we with Commonwealth, I've got my pension superannuation, but they're very tough, with us, very tough. They don't listen to what you ask for, and not very happy.
Well, they're banks, that they do whatever they want to do, don't they? Because they got all the money.
Did you know that if the bank loses your money, they're under no moral obligation to return it?
No, I thought they do. I thought we have a bank guarantee. I think we don't understand the banking system well enough at the moment, and there's different forces that are driving the decisions that the banks are making. Having said that, I think it'd be very, very unpopular if they do raise the interest rates.
It won't change. It's not changing at the moment, but yeah, it'd be good if it went down.
The lower the interest rate, the better. Huh?
It appears most Australians agree. The decision for the banks to go against the Reserve Bank of Australia is quite controversial. It appears average Australians are being made to pay for the bank's overseas debt. Where has the moral gone in banking? I'm Janae Tomlinson, reporting for Undercurrent.
Well, don't forget, if you would like to have your say, you can find us in the city on Tuesdays around about lunchtime. We would love to see you. I'm Christy Mollica. I look forward to seeing you for more Undercurrent after the break.
Undercurrent, sponsored by John Hughes in Victoria Park. Choose your station before you choose your program. Absolutely.